Cancer, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Now, keep in mind, my friends, these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages in those readings as well. And if you're looking for a personal reading, please check out the link in the description below or feel free to send me an email and we can set that up. Okay, my friends, let's get started for Cancer. What is the energy around the week ahead for Cancer? Energy around the week ahead for Cancer. 2 cards. Show the world the real you and look at the bigger picture. Interesting. Show the world the real you and look at the bigger picture. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. What do you need to release? That came through for which sign? I think it was Gemini. Okay, let's have a look here for you, Cancer. So show the world the real you, look at the bigger picture, and what do you need to release? So you could be holding back. You could be holding it back. You could be holding back something because it almost feels like what you need to release is this idea that you need to hold back. And that what you need to release could be this idea of you might be looking at things too small. You know, you might be looking at something and saying, this is an obstacle. But if you look at the bigger picture, you could see that, oh, actually, that obstacle is showing me where I need to release. You know what I mean? You might need to expand on how much of yourself you're sharing. You might need, like, not in the sense of go out and tell the whole world everything about yourself, but be yourself. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Show the world the real you. I feel like the emphasis in this card for you today is the word real. That you don't have to play it small. You don't have to pretend to be something you're not or pretend to be someone you're not. That might be something you need to release. And by looking at the bigger picture, you might be able to see that whatever appears to be an obstacle or a challenge for you right now could actually be something that needs to be released. It's showing you where you need to make some changes. And some of those changes may involve you really being authentic about who you are in all spaces. Like not matching energy. So you go visit this group of people and you match their energy. Then you go visit your family and you match their energy. You hang out with your coworkers and you're matching their energy. And where along the line have you been yourself? Have you been yourself here, or here? Maybe not. Maybe not. You know, you might find yourself constantly just trying to fit in because you might believe that by showing the world the real you, maybe you feel like you'll be rejected. Maybe you feel like no one will understand you. You know, you could have a limited belief around that right now. And that by looking at the bigger picture, you might see that that's actually holding you back from experiencing what it would be like to just be authentic and being yourself all the time without really worrying about how people receive you. I know it's a tall order. That can be a tricky one to sort of sit with, and you might find yourself feeling like you're not sure how to go about that. Like, how do I show them the real me if they won't understand? Well, then what do you need to release? Maybe you need to release the idea of needing their understanding, right? So you could just, try being yourself, being authentic, and then allow other people to sort of make their own judgment about whether or not they want that around them or not. And if they don't, that's fine. But you shouldn't have to match energy in order to feel like you belong. And that might be what you need to release, Cancer. Let's have a look here. Show the world the real you. Yeah, 7 of Swords coming out right away. So in some way, you're limiting yourself. You're sitting in an illusion that you're buying right now. This is you deceiving yourself into thinking that you can continue on this path without being authentic. I don't think so. It feels like you're needing to release those illusions and those limitations, and you're going to have to do this mindfully. This is a conscious choice to say, I'm going to be the real me no matter what space I'm in. And it's not up to me to control how people receive me. I am who I am, and I'm going to express the real me. And if people don't like that, then I guess that's on them, right? Like, you're just doing your thing. You're just being yourself. And I think this is going to be tricky because seeing the Seven of Swords come out first says to me that you're already feeling uncertain about these concepts or beliefs. Like, it's almost like you've had a recent, and by recent it could be like just a few years. Like, it doesn't mean it happened yesterday, but you've been changing. You've had changes. You've transformed. You've become the authentic you by doing some changes. So it's almost like you need to release this idea of needing people to accept you, needing people to validate you. You have to just be you and give yourself that validation. And I feel like that's the looking at the bigger picture here. Like, interesting. Yeah. Look at that, the Fool in reverse now. So that tells me that there's a part of you that's not really willing to take that leap of faith. There's a part of you that's not willing to take that risk right now. But this reading is guiding you to do that, to take the risk. Because ultimately there is no risk. The risk is in your mind when I see these swords. You've created the concept of this being a risk. So you can very easily change that and say, it's not a risk. I can be the real me and there's no risk. If people don't get it, and I don't need them to get it, I'm just going to be myself. And I feel like by being yourself, you're actually going to attract people that are on the same wavelength as you. They have the same energy that you have. You're vibrating in the same place. So then you can just be authentic. But I think right now there are things you need to release in terms of this idea that you need people to accept you as you are, and that if you don't accept me, then we're going to have a problem. It's kind of like, no, you're not. You're not going to have a problem. The only problem you're going to have is that you're not going to really necessarily feel like being in those spaces anymore, that you can't be authentic. That's about it. But you're not going to have a problem in the sense that, like, you don't need to confront anybody into getting you. Do you know what I mean? I keep seeing the Five of Swords as I shuffle. And so that's why I'm saying that. And the Nine of Swords, I keep seeing it as I shuffle. So that makes me feel like you don't have to convince anyone to get you, Cancer. It doesn't matter if people get you or not. All that really matters is that you get and love yourself and that you show up as yourself. That's it. That's all that really matters, is that you show up as your authentic self. And yeah, there's the Wheel of Fortune. It's coming through in the reverse again. I think you're getting this idea of the Fool and the Wheel of Fortune coming through in the reverse because you're hesitating. You're hesitating on being yourself all the time. I think you feel like you have to compartmentalize when you're yourself and when you're not yourself. You know what I mean? Depending on who's around. And there's the Tower on the bottom of the deck. So what's trying to peek over there? Oh, see, it's the Five of Cups. Very interesting. So that's, I feel like you sort of needing to emotionally be okay with some separation if it's necessary. And I think in some ways it is. What do you need to release? There is something you need to let go of in order to sort of surrender to this idea of just being authentic, showing up as yourself, and being okay with showing up as yourself, even if it means that certain structures or certain relationships or certain groups you don't resonate with anymore. And there's no judgment, right? It doesn't come with any judgment like you're better or worse than anyone. There's no comparison and no judgment. This is just about you being you and choosing environments that you feel you vibe with, but always being you regardless of the environment that you're in, you know? And again, this doesn't mean that you walk into a room and tell everyone your life story, unless that's what makes you feel authentic. But what I'm talking about here is just being yourself instead of matching energy. So you go visit your family, you stay you. You go visit your friends, you stay you. You don't have to shift and morph into them. And I think that that's a thing that happens. I always call it matching energy. When you go into a space and you're like, okay, in order to fit in, I'm going to become them. And then you change yourself to fit in with certain groups. And it's like, you don't have to do that. You can show up as yourself. And if it doesn't feel like that's a space that you're being honored in to show up as yourself, then you just don't show up in that space, period. Like, you show up in other spaces. You choose where you feel you resonate with, right? And again, it's not a judgment. It's just releasing what no longer serves you. And in some cases, it's a belief about yourself that says, I won't fit in as I am. So I will hide the real me so that I can fit in. And I feel like this reading is saying, no, you don't have to do that anymore. You never had to do that in the first place. Just show up as yourself, right? Show up as yourself and see the bigger picture. I love that. First card out for you sort of looks like this card, doesn't it? It's interesting. It's this idea of surrendering to divine timing. And you've got the Tower, the Wheel of Fortune, the Fool. This is all happening right now to help you show up as yourself. The card says here, sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. So if a goal isn't manifesting fast enough for you or according to your ego, be patient and trust the flow of the universe. So to me, that says that this is all happening according to divine timing. And you're being guided to sort of show up as the real, authentic you right now so that you can release any sort of idea that you're in control of the timing of all of this. This is all happening to help you see the bigger picture and to release resentments, apparently, which is interesting. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for any shortcomings you perceive and move forward towards positive situations in your life. So again, this isn't a judgment or a thing to be resentful of. So the guidance here isn't like, if you can't be authentic, then have a fight with the people that aren't accepting you and get mad at them and have a fight with them. No, it's sort of just seeing things as they are and being like, this isn't a space that I feel like me in. I don't feel like I can be authentic here. So I'm going to move away from this because when I show up as myself, I'm met with a lot of criticism. So it's sort of like, instead of developing resentments for those people or those spaces, just move towards situations in your life that feel positive. What do you need to release? What do you need to let go of? Bottom of the deck. Look at that. Surrender, denial. I hardly ever see this card. And it's interesting because look, both are wearing blindfolds. You must surrender being in denial that you're going to feel like you can be authentic in every situation that you used to feel comfortable in. Because I feel like you've changed. You have stepped into the real you. And by doing so, there's a level of acceptance here. It says here, accept people and situations exactly as they are, without denying the difficulties. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decisions. So, it's interesting. Don't have resentment for these spaces or these people and judge it and say, well, they didn't understand me and This is about going where the energy is guiding you to go and where you need to release resentments, where you need to step out of being in denial, and where you need to sort of surrender to divine timing, because it's like you're being guided to just be the real, authentic you. And to not feel like you have to either match people's energy or get in a fight with them for not getting you. No, don't even bother with any of that, because you can't control how people see you. You can't control that. You just show up as yourself and sort of accept people in the situation exactly as they are. And if it doesn't feel like it's a positive situation for you, release it, move past it. Very interesting reading for you this week, Cancer, and I really hope that it's been helpful and resonated for you. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm sending you so much love and light, my friends, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Take care.